go to the hotline, and let's go out to East Texas, where we are going to catch up with a guy who I just saw just last week. He's the head coach of the Winona Wildcats. We're joined by Coach Keylon Kincade. Coach, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Excellent. How are things in beautiful Winona, Texas?
It's a little hot outside. We just get off the field and got some good defensive work in, but as long as we keep hydrated, we'll be all right.
You're a guy who's been there 4 years now. You're entering your fifth season there at the helm of the Wildcats. I'm really interested to see how you would kind of compare this spring to past springs. I know that coaches, you get a feel for what spring should look like. Overall, how would you assess what you've seen so far this spring?
I believe this is the best spring we've had. We got the kids well ahead of our schedule. In the past, we're probably a good 3 weeks ahead of where we're at. And I think the kids are learning. They're loving what they're doing. They're running around, getting stuff down, playing fast and free and not having to worry about stuff. And we'll go another week and wrap it up, and I think that'll give us a good foundation to start the season off.
You guys last year, you guys have been a bit of a roller coaster the past 3 years. 5-5 back in 2015. Of course, that breakout year where you guys ran all the way to a regional final in 2016. Then last year, kind of falling back to 4-7. Although you gave New Diana everything they could handle in that first round of playoffs. Overall, I know that you're looking for program consistency. It's been a little bit up and down. How do you establish kind of that expectation and that of consistency, that expectation of excellence out there in Winona?
We start with our common core values, and we I let my coaches know that, and I let my kids know that the standard is the standard, and we're gonna live by our core values. We're gonna live by with our integrity and how hard we're gonna work. One of our main mottos is win forever. That means winning on the field, the classroom, and at home, not getting in trouble. I think those values that we try to instill in them, that's going to help us be more consistent. We've had 2 winning seasons here and 2 losing when 3 playoff berths. So we're looking to do the same and even get better. I think being that I've been here and had the middle school kids, they actually doing pre-athletics now, so the future will be even better than the past.
Coach, one of the things that when you take a look back at 2017, one thing that really strikes me is how many close games you guys played. You guys are a 1-point win over Alto, a 1-possession loss to Elysian Fields, a 1-possession loss to Gladewater Sabine, a 1-possession win over Alba Golden, and then, of course, that very tight 5-point loss to New Diana in the first round of the playoffs. Is that something? Is there something you can teach about that? About finishing games, knowing full well that it is so competitive in that part of the state. You're going to be playing in close games. Is that something you can teach as far as being able to close out close games?
Yeah, you can, and most of it comes with experience and kids being in those situations and it actually stinging them to lose that tight of a game. Starting the year out, we lost 8 kids before the first game, and so we was plug and play. We beat Alto with 18 kids. A lot of our wins came with 18 to 21 kids, just grinding it out, playing Ironman football. After losing those 8 kids, 6 of them were 2A starters. So I think this year we won't have any big surprises. We're gonna have who we have, and we're gonna coach them up. And I think this year will be better than next. I'm almost certain of that.
We're talking to Keylon Kincade, the head coach of the Winona Wildcats here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, hashtag TF Today. Coach, looking forward to 2018. You guys bring back a ton of experience, 15 starters total. You guys are, you guys lost just 7 lettermen from your squad last year. How do you think that this 2018 team, is going to be different from the 2017 team?
Well, I think that it's kind of an in-between of we got young kids that seen what happened last year. They don't want to go through the roller coaster year. And those older guys that we have left, they're like, there's no way we're gonna wheel our way and grind our way into having a successful season. Those kids seeing that, those kids uh, buying in every day after school. Um, we're having a great average of kids after school every day. In the past, we might have a handful here and there. This year has been over half our team in the weight room after school, not running off to work, not running off to get on Fortnite or whatever it might be. So, it's a lot more dedication going on.
One guy that I know is dedicated, probably because Dad makes him dedicated, is your son Keylon Kincade Jr. This was a kid who I want to let you brag on him, but this was a guy who 1,500 all-purpose yards a year ago, a star on defense, kind of does it all. He returns kicks, he stirs the Gatorade. I guess a couple questions. One is, where are you going to use him? Because it seems like he's got such a wide skill set that the biggest challenge for you is finding out how to deploy him. And secondly, what is it like to be out there, coaching your son?
We're going to use him like we've always have. Put him in different positions to make plays for us. He'll start off at receiver and safety. We'll move him around, slot, outside, trips, throwing screens. We'll throw him the ball, hand him the ball. And on defense, he'll play safety, where he's one of our best tacklers. And, he can run, so he can cover a lot of space for us, and that'll help us out. We had decent safety play last year, but we needed upgrade, so we moved him back there. Coaching my son, it's been a transition. It's been give and take, and learning how tough I need to be on him, how much room I need to allow him to grow, and sitting back studying and observing him as he matured from a freshman up into a senior. It's just different approaches, and it's kind of a different ordeal every day, because I got to be dad and I got to be coach. So it's a fine line between that, and I think we've come to a point where we've got it pretty much figured out.
Coach, you got a ton of talent out there in Winona, but you guys are going to be up against a pretty tough district. You guys are going to be challenged week in and week out by this by what's been what looks like a pretty tough district. I'm really interested. You take a look at District 10 3A, Division 2. You're in there with Harmony. You're in there with ARP, Troop. Even Grand Saline and Alba Golden are certainly capable of big years. Overall, when you take a look at the district that you're up against, what are you seeing?
I'm seeing what you just explained, just traditionally rough and stout teams that going to be where they're supposed to be and when they're supposed to be. They're well coached, good athletes, some winning tradition there. I'm going to enjoy it, because each week it's somebody we've played before. The kids, I believe they're enjoy it as well, because they've either played these teams in football, basketball, or track. So it's kind of renewing some rivalries, and I think these games will be even more fun than our last district, where we were playing a whole bunch of new people, and you get to see some familiar faces and familiar foes, and our kids are already excited about it, and that makes me excited as well.
And finally, Coach, folks may remember your name from your days at SMU. You were a star running back there. You're from that part of the world. You're from Troop.
Yeah.
And you had a run with the Cowboys. You bounced around the NFL a little bit, but more importantly, I think you're the first guest we've ever had that played in NFL Europe. And so I want to ask you about your year at the Cologne Centurions. In 2005. When you look back on that, what are your memories of playing as the RIP NFL Europe with the Centurions?
It was it was a grind. It was humbling. It was a cultural shock. It was different from going from the top of the ladder in the NFL and going to Europe, you having to play in soccer stadiums. But I enjoyed my time there. We had good coaches. We had good people on the team. We enjoyed it. We ended up with tied for the best record, and I ended up having the touchdown record for the team. And my best friend, one of my best friends now, he had the rushing record for the team, and we had a great time. And I enjoy and I appreciate that opportunity going to see the world a little bit while playing football. Those folks over there, they love sports, so they came out and supported us. Funny thing is, they allowed to have whistles in the stadium, so just imagine hundreds or thousands of whistles going off at once when a good play happens. So there was a couple false starts.
Yeah, I will say from East Texas to Germany and then back to East Texas. He's the head coach of the Winona Wildcats, Coach Keylon Kincade. Coach, really appreciate your time. Congratulations on a great 2017. Best luck in this offseason and down the road.
I appreciate it.
There he goes, Keylon Kincade, head coach, Winona Wildcats. I'm sure I've talked to somebody who's played in NFL Europe, but like that just seems like because NFL Europe kind of it just disappeared basically.
Right.
Like it folded, but it always fascinated me.
Sure.
Like clearly that was like I feel like NFL Europe would work better now that the NFL is trying to become more of a global brand. But Keylon Kincade was a star at SMU. Before going in, he was undrafted free agent by the Giants. Then he bounced around. He did play getting a game for the Cowboys in 2006. But now back home in East Texas, coaching Winona, and coaching his kid, which is really really cool that he's out there and his kid's a stud. Kid is junior. I hope he's still watching, but junior might be better than senior.
Oh man,
he's a stud. He's really really good. So appreciate Coach Keylon Kincade hopping on with us.